Welcome back to One Hit.
High Points.
This is Kareem.
And Travis.
I love how you shouted high points at the sky or like the ceiling. It's
it's been a high moment, or it's been a middle. It's been a point.
I meant more like the audio probably. But also it's just, I guess, yes, that too, because you're like looking up and saying high points. Anyway, so we're pretty much back again. It's been a little bit of a small break. Obviously, it being summer. A lot of things can happen, like traveling and just projects that we start and maybe not finish, but we definitely go into it with high hopes. And we just got back from Indiana visiting your family.
Yeah, for the 4th of July, went out to go see my parents. They live on a lake, so lake life is peaceful and like a nice little reset.
Nice.
Had some barbecue ribs and just
just a wholesome time. I really enjoyed the little pizzas that we got to make together, and the vegan cheese was great because it didn't hurt my stomach.
Pizza on the grills like really surprises people. People's always like against it. They're like, "Wait a minute, you're putting pizza on the grill?" I'm like, yeah. And then once they have it, they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is so good."
Yeah. So the pizza was great. Times with family was great. It was a wholesome time. I got to have great conversations with his family and just got really deep, and yeah, it was great. I really prefer to like meet people that are willing to like debate ideas and thoughts and perspectives and stuff like that.
What kind of goes hand in hand with the premise of this, the podcast and the show that we kind of have.
Yes.
Just having conversation, even if there's differences or, problems or whatever the issue might be type thing, having a conversation about it, that's what we're about, is having those conversations.
Yeah, if you can see on the bottom, actually, it was really sweet that like Travis wrote that whole little like, I guess what do you want to call it, like a monologue, I guess, of sorts. Yeah, of sorts, whatever. This basically is just a little bit of an introduction to those that are just kind of like tuning into a live stream, or someone who's listening to the first time or watching it through YouTube or whatever, and they don't really know what the hell we're talking about. You can just kind of read the bottom and just see that it's pretty much like a free open chat discussion, like, I guess, listen, watch, whatever. I mean, we just talk about anything and everything with just added opinions and perspectives. Nothing that we say is of absolute or something that we use as a way to, I guess, categorize other human beings or like, perceive them. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I do know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's just having those little one
Tell me,
hits.
what am I trying to say, Travis? Yeah, just take a hint and just be open-minded and stop just like fucking adding too much
drama.
Yeah, just be you and just be okay with other people being them, and share ideas. At the end of the day, this world is about collaborating on ideas together to be able to like coexist, right? I mean, otherwise there's just an imbalance of power and anyway. So today's episode was actually going to be something that was pretty personal for me, because I've pretty much made it clear to anyone who knows me personally, friends of those, or people that maybe I've just had great conversations with that I've only ever met once or whatever, that yes, I struggle with a little bit of ADHD, something that I've probably tried to brush off my entire life. There's only been ever a few moments where I've tried to like maybe get help for it, just because there's been a lot of shame around it. And
it's kind of crazy that, there is shame around it, though. I think that the world has come a long way, but, like looking back at, when we were kids in elementary school and those type of things, that, there was some shame, behind it. It's like, oh, there goes the little, Ritalin kid, or, Tommy over there needs to get his Ritalin. It's like, I remember like those type of jokes or slurs kind of being, made. And so it always kind of, when someone struggles with that, they see that and they don't want to say anything. Mm-hmm. So it goes oftentimes untouched, I think. And that's never a healthy thing. So it's just crazy.
How would someone know that someone was on Ritalin unless the person told them, or just can you tell when
I think
someone
some of it
was
also
on
became more of a joke, where if you just have someone that's going crazy or hyper talking or whatever, it's kind of like using like, oh, this person, it's more of just a joke towards the person.
Like they need it, or they're saying that they can perceive them being on it. It's obvious to tell.
I think they're just making fun of the person, just whatever they're doing, just saying, oh, that kid needs Ritalin. Just more as using it as in to calm the kid down.
Oh, okay. Well,
more from a joke standpoint, and then.
But if someone was technically on it and they were functioning because of it, and
I don't know if anyone would ever know at that point. Yes, yeah.
Okay. The reason why I say that is because, so pretty much I've been struggling with this for a while. I've been telling this to you for probably over a year now, where I'm like, I just don't want to be a person subscribed to any medications or treatments or whatever. I feel like mind over matter. However, I could mind over matter, but it never sustains itself enough for me to feel like I'm productive enough to feel good about my day-to-day life. Instead, I stay up all night thinking like, why am I not doing more? How come I'm struggling to do more? My thoughts are racing nonstop, and it's very hard to find a specific path or to try to set like small goals for myself, because I would do that. But then when I sit back, there's just so much to do in the grand scheme that I feel overwhelmed and crippled that I don't know how to move forward. And yes, again, like small little projects or little goals can help. And I do believe in that. And I believe that some people can utilize that system to take it to the next level. However, I've kind of hit a plateau of that for the past year. And yeah, so I'm pretty much kind of using this episode to talk about the fact that I've started a new medication. I forgot the name of it though. It's not important. It's not important. I think I'm on day 1. So I'm on day 1. I took it this morning. It's still going strong. I've smoked several bong rips of indica, and I'm still going strong. Could probably run a marathon right now. But yeah, so if you see me on or hear me on future episodes and I sound different, it's not because I've trying to change myself like consciously the entire time of the video. It's that I'm on medication, so I'm feeling everything all at once. But I want to be open and honest about that, just because I believe there's power in being vulnerable and just being open as a human being.
You don't know who else is listening, and maybe being able to help someone else that might, be afraid to actually admit to something and saying, hey, maybe I haven't a problem, or not a problem, but be in the same situation, where, yeah, I'm highly overthinking things, or yes, I am, highly strung out, anxiety ridden,
and then people smoke because of that,
and then they fall into other traps or other things, and it becomes a vicious cycle where
not only that, I'm just saying,
where it becomes a vicious cycle where you just continue to fall down, and it's hard to get back up. And so I think you being open and honest, I think one takes a lot of courage, one, because you're putting, your business out there in some aspect, but, I think it's for a better cause, there's being a good example. It brings it back to, like we said at the beginning of, talking about our problems, our issues, our days, what do we face each day, those type of things, and, helping each other kind of build upon each other, because it's the only way that the world can become better in my mind. And
isn't that what collective societies are supposed to be about anyway, like kind of contributing to the overall goal of a functioning society that can flourish, so much so that we can spread those same type of systems to help other people flourish, so that there's an even balance or an even flow within the world, and people don't necessarily have to believe in a hierarchy over one another, when everyone can just function as a global citizens. They can all want to empower themselves just to make the earth a better place for everyone. And I think that it all starts with just having super humanistic conversations that revolve around things around people being vulnerable and just being open, because there you're taking the mask off, or you're not leading with ego, you're not leading with I guess like a pride that I don't know, believes that you're superior in any way. You're just going into it thinking like, this person's a human being, I'm a human being, we share similar ideas, we're experiencing similar things. This is the human experience. Are we really that different? No. Do I just want to believe I'm different just because whatever it is that's hollow or empty in one facet of my life I'm trying to fulfill? Maybe. So Yes. So smoking for some people, for me, has definitely been um, a great, like I guess,
Stepping stone.
I don't want to use the word like vice because it's like because a part of me does believe it is in a way, and I say vice as in like it's an escape for me. Like I have to be honest and open with these things, right? Like I don't mind smoking. I actually quite love smoking. I'm sure a lot of people, I'm sure everyone who's ever quit weed has to some degree loved smoking, right? Um, but what I've noticed in myself is that I've never smoked until I was 27 years old. So about 3 years ago, it was June of 2020. I was just moving out of Atlanta, got out of a long-term relationship, and I was gifted a.
That's 4 years ago.
Was that 4 years ago? Oh, well, oh, that's right, because I'll be 31 this year, but my birthday's in December, so I'm always confused. Because the very next day, then I'm like, oh, I'll be this age this year when it's just the very next day. Anyway, so yeah, I was gifted like a brownie and like this wrapping. It was really like nice wrapping. And my friend gifted it to me as like a going away gift for leaving Atlanta because I only made a few friends out there when I was there. And yeah, I ate the brownie because I was hungry, right? But I didn't know it was an edible. So about an hour-ish later, when we get to this like daytime bar, I start like profusely laughing. And I think when I go on laughing tangents, I can be quite silly even when I'm like completely sober right when I wake up in the morning. So needless to say, I was laughing like crazy, and he started laughing as well, and I was like, what are you laughing about? He's like, I'm laughing at you. And I was like, eventually I started to like kind of click my tongue, and I was like, oh, my mouth is really dry and I'm getting this like weird aftertaste. I was like, what was in that chocolate? I was like the chocolate gave me like such a weird like taste in my mouth. And he goes, that was an edible, silly. And I was like, huh? And at this point in my life, like I had never consumed marijuana. Like I just was mainly a drinker, obviously, like whatever, you do things when you go out and party, but for some reason that just wasn't never interested me. I was always about uppers, like party, yeah, I wanted to be hyper. And when I saw people around me smoke, I was like, apathy. And I saw for some people it truly was like a motivation killer or took away the natural high moments you would get like hiking a mountain or whatever. So long story short, I never smoked. I was introduced to that. I liked the feeling I got. It made me laugh a lot, and it encouraged like a part of me that was always there, but made it like more carefree. And eventually I started like taking those random like blunt hits from like friends that like would pass by or whatever, like friends, family, whatever. And I would just always like die coughing. I'm like, screw this. Like, why can't it be like the other way? Like, whatever. So then I tried going to edibles, had a really scary experience, was like, all right, maybe fuck edibles. Then my mom got sick, and my friend recommended like one of those like Delta 8 vape pens, and I always knew that it was like a synthetic weed, but did the job, I guess, when I needed it. And it would just basically quell my anxiety and help me escape, and I would like blast myself and just detach from social media and the world. And then I realized that wasn't really good. So then I had to put that pen away, and I stopped really using it for recreational use and more just like if I needed to eat a meal or go right to bed. So I felt good about that, was working hard. Then I came across like flower and like actually learning about different types of flowers and interested in smoking different kinds of flower. I had left working with family, a job I was working with family. I moved in with you, and yeah, I started really enjoying flower, and it was really nice to smoke in a way that was with someone you trusted, that you can like share ideas with and chat and be.
It is definitely something that you have to. It's a line of vulnerability of with smoking, because
I used to do it alone. Like I never really did it with anybody.
Because it's more of like you become more. I don't want to say careless, but you like you don't necessarily second guess your thoughts necessarily, like what you're going to talk
Depends
about.
who you're around, because that's how I felt with you. I was like, well, I don't care. This is me.
But that's what I'm saying is it takes a level of vulnerability, because then some people don't like smoking because that vulnerability makes them feel that way, and then they get uncomfortable because they're talking about things they don't want to talk about and all the things like that.
I do that anyway, but yeah.
But a lot of people don't like marijuana because of that piece of it, of the vulnerability of it. But but yeah, but
I felt like a kid again. Like I felt like when I was smoking with you, like obviously the idea, the doing of smoking, the action of smoking, of course, didn't make me feel like a kid. No, well, kind of, because I smoked like hookah when I was 7, but up until even this point. But what I was trying to say is that I think with like marijuana, I use it in a way where I was healing. Like I can't explain it. It's just this weird way of.
It allows you to take some of the anxiety out of the world because you can kind of detach, and then you're allowed to basically self-process or self-think or self-heal.
How much have I cried around you being high?
And there's a lot, but there's also probably times where you have, and I was next to you, but you weren't necessarily conscious of like what was around you. Like you were kind of in your own little space, and that's kind of what I think the beauty of marijuana allows.
I felt safe, yeah.
Is a sense of safety if you're in the good, and that's why, smoking, you need to make sure you're in a safe space. But
yeah, and I think that's kind of like the reason why I never did it back then, because I saw you're a very high functioning person, which is like so inspiring to me, because I've never seen someone who's just like naturally a very high functioning person to the point where you don't waste a second of your day doing something you don't need to do if you have things to do. And I value that. And I was really attracted to that energy because I think that's the kind of energy I need to be around, someone who constantly keeps me accountable and motivated. And I think that's also the reason why I was able to smoke around you, because I knew that when I do, it's a way of like feeling safe, comfortable, being open with you, honest with you. And you can't always do that. And I think that's why I think the premise of it was like summer of August 2022, and I was randomly like, we need to make a podcast and like talk about the things you talk about. It's very like honest and open, and it probably can help people feel connected. And
like for myself, it's like smoking and back to the high functionality piece of it. It's just more of like, I used to drink a lot, and I don't know if I would say I was a heavy drinker or whatever. We can talk about word semantics another day, but I was drinking, and I knew it was a bad thing for myself, to continue. So it's like I also had to like calm my my OCD type, always thinking type mind, my other my high anxiety type little moments, and smoking allows me to do that. But I also know that I can't stop moving, because just with work and the house and things like that, there's always things to do, and you can't let those things fall behind, because then things just fall apart. So some of it is just more of like, you just have to push yourself to do it. But it also is, I smoke to calm the anxieties so I don't drink, so I can still be functional. Like it's like I'm kind of using it as more of a like, let's take a Tylenol to take the headache away, but I still have to go. Just because you have a little headache doesn't make you kind of stop working.
Of course.
That's kind of how I always kind of treated it. Now there are the nights where I don't want to do anything and I just get, annihilated. But
see, and the funny thing about like smoking too is when you say something like that, immediately my eyes start to squint and I feel like getting annihilated, because there's just something. Oh, hello, welcome there, Mars. Just jumped on my chair. Do you have something to say? Do you have something to say, babe?
No,
he doesn't. He wants love. Come here. Come. So pretty much, I've used marijuana, I guess, in a lot of ways to help me heal and to feel connected and to feel one with myself again and go through the motions and the trauma and feel things, but also feel it with a little bit more of a clarity and less of a heaviness. Yes, you will cry a lot sometimes if you are high and think about things, but there's a way that apathy, a little bit of that apathy kind of blends in with a clarity or like a realization of things that like softens the blow a bit. And then when you kind of snap out of it, you're able to say, like I feel drained from having to have done that, but you've done it. So therefore you've kind of been able to process it a little bit, whether you've done it in full, in part, or whatever. And that only encourages more healing down the road. So I think really what I'm trying to say is that I'm now learning a little bit more of balance. I didn't smoke the entire day since I woke up today until literally just about maybe an hour ago, if that. And I think it's because I wanted to encourage myself to take that one hit if I feel like or felt like I earned it. If I earn it, or if I've done some bit of work with a clear mind, whether that's mental, physical, whatever, then I feel like it does something to your discipline, and that discipline refines your abilities and your potential to create and see a payoff in the work you do. So
and
now
it's also rewarding.
Yeah,
it's kind of what you're kind of saying, isn't Mark,
I'm personally, for me, because I've had a problem with being functional when I'm high. I'm learning that I should, for my own personality and for my like the type of person I am, I'm learning that like it should only really be used for like whether I earned it, whether it's to just maybe take a small hit to eat something, or just to go to bed / relax, and I have nothing to do. I was waking up in the morning and I was puffing joints, feeding the birds, watering the plants, doing some chores here and there, sure.
and that's fine.
But then by the time
Saturday
midday,
morning,
yeah, but by the time midday comes, I'm like,
you're either exhausted.
I'd still go to the gym, but I would take like a huge dry scoop of pre-workout. And then by the time the night came, I'm like, dude, like I just want to smoke and continue this feeling I've been feeling that's so good. And that's how I would fall off with the podcast. So I think I got to tie it back into the episode podcast name is One Hit High Points. Take that hit, loosen yourself up a bit, but balance. Be present still. Exist. Know that the world is still spinning around you and there's some fucked up shit going on. It still requires your acknowledgement and your awareness. Because, of course, escapism is great for, a small period of time, but at some point, shit hits you when you escape. It doesn't mean like things just go away. It hits you. So
yeah, I think we've also, brought up the word balance multiple times through, episodes over the past, several months, and I think that's a key piece that, balance also applies to this, where, whether it's, whatever vices that you might have, because everyone has one, whether it's, drinking or overeating or cookies, ice cream, whatever the case might be, is it all requires balance, and they're all kind of there to kind of cope our feelings in some aspects.
So ironic because I was so like anti-marijuana back in the day. I was just like, apathy.
I was the same way. They just, but I think a lot of that is also just misunderstanding and what it is, or not understanding what it is because of.
I had to take a hit, right? I had to take that one hit to understand what it was about. So
on that note, take the one hit.
Yeah. So I just, for anyone who's like struggling with it and thinks that they have to completely put it away, like I completely understand why.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
either.
no.
Same with the same thing where people that doesn't want to drink, like, and
I really don't like drinking. It's like,
and there's no judgment towards that. For myself, is I took 5 months off of drinking for a period of time over COVID, and people were like, "Why aren't you drinking?" I'm like, "Because I don't want to. Leave me alone." And it's like eventually they
you don't want to become like an alcoholic. Like right?
I was testing myself just to make sure that I wasn't dependent on it.
Yeah.
And then I just like, you know what, this isn't healthy for me anyway. But, anyway, it requires that balance of whatever the case might be, and understanding, whether it's drinking or smoking or whatever the case might be, is that it's could be destructive or could lead you down a path of, that's even worse than
down the dark side.
Down the dark side.
Yeah, so this medication, it's working. I feel it. Arguably could have a higher dosage. I don't know. The doctor who prescribed it to me wanted to give me a much higher dose, and I said, please no, because I didn't want to get like hype and feel that whatever. It's definitely working. I don't know. I feel like you're the one I can only observe myself to some degree.
I guess once again it's day one. It's just more of like we just.
What do you think? Continue. What's your perspective on it? How I've been today?
You're a little more.
We're live. Be careful. No, just kidding.
You're a little more present, and you're a little more, active or more awake. I think you don't look like mopey. So I think, but then again, it's just day one. So like, I'm not going to put, complete, and this is, the pill that works,
I know. You see how I am? Like, I'm just like such a hopeful person. I'm like, is it working?
And it probably is. But, we want long term.
Yeah. And I think I don't.
Not a little, hey, I feel great today, but tomorrow you feel awful. Like, that's not what we're looking for,
No, yeah. I want consistency. I don't think I want to be on this every single day. I think I want to be on it when I just need to be high functioning throughout the week, the work week. I just want to be high functioning and take my hit and just be open minded and have conversations with people and not feel like I'm running away or I can't like be active on social media or continue posting. Damn, like I want to post more. I want to be able to record more. I want to connect with people more. And this is my personality. It's to be hyper, chatty, to talk. I love people. I genuinely do. And I want to connect with as many people as possible just because I'm one of 7. And like, I know what different personalities are like and how to coexist with them and still love them unconditionally. And I think that more people need more of that.
Yeah.
And yes, so today is the start of a new day, a new journey, and if I'm dead tomorrow, you'll know why.
Wow, no, stop.
I didn't mean like physically. And crack a seltzer open.
Crack a seltzer, take a hit, and talk about those problems.
Yeah. If there's like anything new going on in the world that people want to talk about, people want to share with us, we're also open to the idea of people just like kind of messaging us or tuning in and commenting things that they want to hear from us or ask us our opinions on certain things, because we'll go into anything. Like, I mean, I literally don't think there's a conversation I would not talk about.
Yeah, the podcast isn't limited to any type of like news only or genres or any type of thing. We'll open to talk about everything.
Yeah, and there's still also things going on around the world too that I want to definitely talk about more. Just not on this podcast, because I did want to highlight definitely for sure that I'm on a new journey of something that I'm trying to help or tend to. So I think that this is a great way to end this conversation. But I love everyone who's listening. I love the world. Please, everyone, do your part to spread love, kindness, awareness to one another. And we'll talk to you guys on the next one.
Thanks.
Bye.
Have a good night.